Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to your weekly dose of celestial goodness. Thank you for joining me in this space of love. Today, we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics, the simple but complex element of water. Alexa, play ocean sounds. That's actually one of my favorite sounds to listen to before going to bed. So, before we begin that, I wrote a prayer because I'm very deeply conscious and aware of what's going on in the world right now. All the things. And so I wrote a small prayer that I'd like to share with you. So if you could just take in a deep breath and just be aware of how you're breathing. And if you want to close your eyes, that's fine. And I will begin with this. To the divine, all-knowing, all-loving energy of this universe, we pray that our collective mission will be to move this planet and humanity towards a place of more love, more kindness, more compassion, and more joy for ourselves and our fellow human being. We desire a better world for everyone. Please protect those who are in need of protection at this moment. Please fill the hearts and minds of those who need it with love. Inspire and provide us with the energy to do what we can, where we are, with what we have, so that this world may be one that we desire to see, one that we manifest, and one that we enjoy living in. May we all be blessed. May we keep our hearts open to love, both giving and receiving. Blessings to you. Thank you. If times were indeed different, I probably would be somewhere by the sea. For as long as I can remember, water has been a constant presence in my life. I was born in a hospital that overlooks the sea. Shout out Portland, Jamaica. My grandparents had homes that were right next to the sea. To a river overlooking the sea that runs through the Blue Mountains. I heard water everywhere. I knew when the river was at peace. I knew when the rains were heavy and the river suddenly had an urgency to get out to sea. I saw how the river supported the community around it and how the people who lived in that community and who live close to these bodies of water also are able to tell what is going on in their natural environment based on the signs and everything that they see from interacting with the water. A good example is that the best time to actually swim in a river is after a hurricane. Everything has been cleansed, the water is clear, it's clean, it's fresh, and you get a sense that something new has emerged. So for me, being by water is not a strange thing. So there's also a place in my home parish of Portland, many places actually, where the sea and the river meet. As a kid, I loved to sit in these spaces. One body of water is a little bit harder and harsher, and the other is a little bit more calm. And they meet there. And even as a kid, I felt like there's something special about this spot. I didn't know how many lessons were contained in water. I just knew that for me, whether the river or the sea, water has always been a healing place, a peaceful place, and one that has called to me. A few years ago, I began to learn how ancient people and cultures revered water. They knew its power, its magic, its ability to nurture and nourish us, and just how simply beautiful it could be. These ancient communities and cultures assigned deities to water, powerful ones, whose legacies live on today. Many years ago, I learned about the beautiful goddess Yemaya, who has roots in West Africa. Her stories travel to the Western Hemisphere, largely to Brazil and Cuba and the Caribbean, Because of the very unfortunate part of our collective history, the enslavement of African people. The first depictions I ever saw of her was that of a beautiful, curvy, very voluptuous black woman. She's also sometimes depicted as a mermaid. And growing up on an island, you hear stories of mermaids, but you often wonder, are they real, But to see yourself represented in a figure of grace and beauty and power is very amazing. And that leaves such a mark on someone, even if they're not consciously aware of it. And she's not the only water deity. Cultures all around the world have origin stories. So we have Poseidon, also known as Neptune, Oshun, Mamiwata, Nephthys from ancient Egypt, Sedna, who it's said that her fingertips actually created the oceans and all the animals in them. So there are many stories that live on because their archetypes and the messages contain lessons for us. As someone who also references the Tao Te Ching, the Tao is replete with lessons about water. Both verses 8 and 78 of the Tao carry important water-related messages. The first stanza of verse 78 says, "Nothing in the world is softer and weaker than water. But for attacking the hard and the unyielding, nothing can surpass it. There is nothing like it." The first part of verse 8 says, "The supreme good is like water, which nourishes all things without trying to. It flows to low places, loathed by all. Therefore, it is like the Tao. Live in accordance with the nature of things." I encourage you to take a deeper look at the Tao, and these verses in particular. It's filled with just amazing wisdom. And even these two passages that I just read, it tells us water is soft, but it can break down any obstacle. Our relationship as humans with water begins very early. The womb is a watery, mystical place where we gestate for 9 months. Perhaps it is there that we first learn to associate water with love and with healing. Perhaps it is in this space we develop a relationship with this sacred tool. In the Rig Veda, it says, "Within the waters, Soma has told me, dwells all the balms that heal." There's also another saying that tears and the sea and actually drinking water are some of the strongest healing tools that we have. And I've also found, after a good cry, I probably will fall asleep and feel much better about whatever has happened. Water sustains and nourishes our planet and us. We are approximately 70% water, and our brains are approximately 85% water. Water covers 3/4 of the planet. And yet sometimes we do not treat the planet or ourselves kindly. We say harsh things about ourselves, and we don't realize how much of an impact that has on our body and our life. In a workshop that I attended by my friend Mr. Rishi, I learned of the Japanese scientist Masaru Emoto. He did very groundbreaking research on water, and he wrote the book, The Hidden Messages in Water. He said that water wants to be free. Water responds to positive and loving messages. When he said loving and kind words over water, the crystal structure of the water actually transformed. We are also composed of water, and we desire some of the same things. It was in that session that I became supremely aware of how my words impact my life and my body. I am very careful about how I speak to myself and to others. People have tried to discredit Emoto's work as pseudoscience, But this principle is actually one of the underlying bases for a lot of different types of healing modalities, including Reiki. Also, imagine how you would feel, or how you feel when someone gives you a compliment versus when they give you harsh criticism. In some cases, you can feel that in your bones. Words are powerful. I also talk about words this week in my blog at www.celestialgoodness.com. So check that out. Water, therefore, teaches us and reminds us to speak life into our lives. Water also teaches us how to find a way. There is nothing that it cannot wash away. The author Margaret Atwood said, "Water does not resist. Water flows. When you plunge your hand into it, all you feel is its caress. Water is not a solid wall. It will not stop you, but water always goes where it wants to go, and nothing in the end can stand against it. Water is patient. Dripping water wears against stone. Remember that, my child. You are half water. If you can't go through an obstacle, then go around it." Water, I believe, also teaches us the importance of stillness. We have all heard the phrase, silent waters run deep. And yet, they're also calm waters. Deep waters are calm at their core. When water is still, it becomes clear. When it is rough and muddy, it's hard to see what's below. We are similar. When you're calm and when we're calm, we can get clear on all the things that we need to. Confucius said, "As the water shapes itself to the vessel that contains it, so a wise man adapts himself to circumstances." This is a lesson as well, one on the power of adaptability and flexibility. There is power in not becoming too rigid about life, your perspective, and about the way you move and interact with others. These lessons from water are also to remind you that you have power, that you are comprised of one of the most sacred elements in our universe. Remember its lessons and let it help you live your best life. Be in the flow of life, tear down obstacles, practice stillness, nourish yourself and others. I'm going to provide you with some tips for incorporating more water into your life. The first would be to drink more water. Keeping your body hydrated is actually a form of self-love. Admittedly, it is also something that I'm working on, getting more water. To help me consume more water, I've actually added things like fresh fruit, strawberries and lemons, or cucumbers and mint to my water to make it more refreshing and have a little bit more flavor. On that same line, I would also say, like the lessons that we've learned from Dr. Emoto, is say nice things to your water. Label your water bottle with something, like love or goodness. I have a tea shop in the DC area that I really love called Calabash Tea, and they write very beautiful notes on top of your cup when you get your tea. And I think that's very powerful, So you can say things like, "Thank you for nourishing me. Thank you for helping my organs to function properly. Thank you for keeping my skin glowing." Another thing you could do is donate time and resources to helping the environment, particularly to cleaning up local rivers, streams, waterways, the ocean, and the seas of the world. You can also take a visit, when you can, to a local body of water. Sit by the water, swim if you can, feel what you need to feel. When you're taking a shower or a bath, imagine the water cleansing you of the stresses of the day, all of that astral garbage, you know? Feel yourself being cleansed physically and energetically. Be like water when approaching your obstacles. Know that you will find a way. If not through them, go around them. And give gratitude for this simple yet complex element. And most importantly, remember that you, like water, are a very powerful being. Don't give your power away. Speak life into your life. I hope that this video has blessed you with a dose of celestial goodness. If so, please like and subscribe, and also tell a friend. Thank you for sharing this journey with me. I hope that you have an absolutely wonderful week, and that you just find ways to immerse yourself in all the goodness, all the good stuff. So, thank you. Be blessed.